Have you ever been to a magic show? It's an enchanting experience, isn't it? When the magician is up on the stage, performing trick after astounding trick, it's easy to believe that magic is real and that the performer in front of you has been blessed with some amazing supernatural powers. I hate to burst your bubble, though, because magic isn't real, or at least not in the way you might think. There isn't some all-powerful supernatural force helping a magician to pull a rabbit out of a hat, know what card you've chosen from the deck, or bend a spoon with their mind. Magicians simply have the ability to trick our brains into seeing what they want us to see, and then have the great entertaining skills to make you want to believe that what they're doing is real in the first place. But how does this all work? How do our brains, which are usually so good at working out what is real and what is not, get so easily fooled into believing that magic is real? Well, there is actually a science behind how magic works, and it's just as fascinating and amazing as the magic tricks themselves. Magicians are able to get their audiences to believe that the tricks they're performing are real by understanding how to manipulate the weaknesses in our perception. That's a bit of a sciencey sentence, so what does it mean? Well, despite our brains being incredibly advanced, they can also sometimes be very easily fooled. Most magic tricks rely on optical illusions, but what is an optical illusion? Let's explain. An optical illusion is something that our eyes think that they can see, but which isn't actually real. It's basically your eyes playing tricks on your brain. For example, take a look at this picture. What do you see? An old lady, or perhaps a young woman? If you answered either, you are correct, because our brain can interpret the cartoon in both ways. Now, have a look at this image here. You probably see a white triangle in the center, but that's only because your brain thinks it should be there, based on the arrangement of other colors of the other shapes in the image. Illusions like this show that sometimes what we think we see is not what is actually real. However, for our eyes and our brains, that old saying, seeing is believing, is certainly true. This is one reason why magic tricks seem so real. Our eyes are giving information to our brain that it either can't fully understand, so it's trying to fill in the blanks, or it's making predictions based on what it thinks it should be seeing, or what should happen next. A great example of how our brains can make mistakes that make us think magic tricks are real is the vanishing ball illusion. The magician throws the ball in the air 3 times, and then the ball vanishes. Oh, or does it? In reality, what the magician is doing is only throwing the real ball twice and then just pretending to throw it the 3rd time, when really they just hidden it craftily in their hand. The reason why you think the ball has disappeared is because your brain tries to predict what is going to happen next based on what it has already seen. It shows you the ball being thrown in the air the 3rd time even though there's nothing there, because it thinks it should be there. This is known as amodal completion and is the basis of so many magic tricks. Another reason why it is so easy for our brains to believe the illusions of magic tricks is because you aren't actually as aware of what is going on around you as you think. Unless you're focusing carefully on something, your brain won't really pick up that it's happening. This is because your brain can only process so much information at a time, so it chooses to focus all of its power on whatever you're paying attention to the most. The problem with your brain doing this, though, is that we can miss big chunks of important information happening in the background. Watch a few moments of this trick, known as the monkey business illusion.
Count how many times the players wearing white pass the ball. The correct answer is 16 passes.
When you were busy paying attention to the players in white passing the basketball, did you notice the gorilla walk into the stage? Maybe, but I'm certain you didn't notice the curtains changing color or the player in the black team leaving the game. This illusion highlights two major weaknesses in your brain's ability to notice things it isn't paying direct attention to. These weaknesses are known as change blindness and inattentional blindness. Magicians use these limitations of your brain to hide all the parts of the trick you aren't supposed to see. For example, when they hide an object discreetly in their sleeve. One of the major ways they get you to focus on the things they want you to see rather than the things they don't want you to see is through something known as attentional misdirection. Essentially, they are influencing what you are paying attention to. By magicians, this is called controlling the frame. And how do magicians do this? Mind control? Supernatural forces? No, it's much simpler than that. It's usually just eye contact. Magicians will maintain eye contact with the thing they want you to look at, and humans are hardwired to follow the gaze of someone else. That's why you end up only seeing the trick and not all the secret prep work that goes on to make it appear real. One final amazing thing that magicians are able to do to make you believe their magic tricks are real is to literally manipulate your memory. All right, so that has to be a real magical power, right? How can someone possibly be able to control someone else's memory? Well, again, it's actually pretty simple. And it's something that anyone can do, not using magical powers, but the magic of words and suggestion. For many tricks, magicians will tell you exactly what you are looking at or exactly what is going to happen. For example, that they are taking your card out of the middle of the deck. This suggestive language is often accompanied with what appears to be visual proof. For example, the magician may show you the deck of cards with your alleged card sticking out of the top. The magician has told you that they are taking your card out of the middle of the deck, and they have shown you a card sticking out of the middle of the deck. This means that when they show you your card at the end of the trick, which was really just sitting on the top of the deck the entire time, your brain thinks that the trick is real. It remembers being told a specific information that it believes to be the proof. This also relates to another magician's trick, which is the illusion of free choice. All of a magician's tricks are carefully planned so that they are always in complete control of what's going on. But they don't want you to think that. They want you to believe that you have some influence into how the trick occurs as well. When they're asking you to choose a card, you may think that you have chosen one at random and that they're miraculously guessing which one it was. In reality, you were actually manipulated into choosing a certain one. So, is it all just illusions? The power of suggestion and us not paying enough attention that makes magic tricks seem so real? No, that's not all. While some credit has to be given to our big old brains for being so easy to fool with this kind of thing, most of the credit must be given to magicians as expert show people. First of all, magicians are not blessed with amazing supernatural powers. They are blessed with the gift of a great work ethic. Every single magic trick that a magician performs requires practice to master. Lots and lots and lots of practice. Magicians will spend hours learning and practicing each trick, often rehearsing a trick over 20 times per night, and also writing and practicing their routine. All of that time spent on perfecting their skills as a magician means that they can put on a fantastic show that makes you feel like what they are doing must be real. Secondly, good magicians always prepare each of their tricks very carefully before each show. A trick that may seem to be happening in real time on the stage is often one that was carefully prepared beforehand, and this is called loading up by magicians. What does that mean? Well, it means that when a magician asks you to pick a card, you choose a 7 of hearts, and then the magician miraculously pulls that card from the deck, but that deck was made up nearly entirely of 7 of hearts. There was no way they weren't going to pull your card out of the deck. They had carefully prepared the entire trick, including backup plans for if things happened to go wrong. And then there's the fact that most famous magicians are also excellent entertainers in their own right. They have the personality for show business and are able to persuade their audiences with their natural charisma. You're hanging on their every word and are eager to believe that any magic trick they are performing is the real thing. There is also one final reason, perhaps the most important one, as to why we are able to be so convinced that magic tricks are real. It's because we want to believe. Now, that may sound like something out of the X-Files, but when it comes to magic tricks, it's true. If you go into the show wanting to believe that what you're seeing is real, your brain will purposely focus on the parts of the show that seem like proof of that. If you go into a magic show wanting to prove that it's false, you will purposefully try to focus on the parts that give away the secrets behind the magician's tricks. For most people, when it comes to magic, seeing is believing because they want it all to be real. All in all, despite how much we want to believe that it is, magic is not real. Magicians are not drawing from some otherworldly force when they want to make someone levitate in the air, nor do they have psychic abilities or the mystical powers to cut someone in half and then put them back together. However, despite the fact that we know that magic is a combination of illusions and showmanship, there is still something magical about all the fun and mystery involved with it. Magic tricks might not be real, but that doesn't make them any less entertaining. What are your thoughts about magic? And have you ever seen a magic trick that you don't think could possibly be explained by science? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos just like this one.